Morning. I apologize for the light. I haven't bought any lighting equipment to do my YouTube channel. Um, I probably should go out and do that, so I'm sorry about the lighting. I'm Mark McMorris. I'm an animal rescuer, animal advocate, independent journalist, here today to talk about what's important to me is the lack of attention toward animal abuse and animal neglect. I've already done one video on this subject, and I want to go into it a little bit deeper. In fact, we're going to talk about some things in this video that may be a little bit biased toward some groups. Anyway, what I have done is opened up an animal rescue about 10 years ago. I started off in Florida. I wind up in Louisiana. Right now I'm in Mount Hermon, Louisiana, where I have an animal rescue. During this time I've been here 6 years. We have saved and rescued over 2,200 and some puppies, dogs, horses, goats, ponies, donkeys. We've been quite busy here. What disturbs me the most is that we have a lack of attention, and it's gone on for way too long. My whole thing is that I'm going to continue to hammer on this is that we need the backing of our local governments. We need the backing of law enforcement. We need those people to do their job. We have animal abuse has been around for a long time. I'm going to go back just a little bit. I'm going to regress a little bit and go back. From early age, I loved animals. I mean, for a child, I loved animals. And during my early adult years, I wanted to be a police officer. I wanted to not only help people, but, I wanted to help animals. And so I joined the Plaquemine Police Department. It's a Louisiana small department. And I stayed there for about 6 months. Well, from there I moved on to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where I became an East Baton Rouge sheriff deputy for several years. In that department during that time, I don't know about now, I don't keep up with it anymore, but there's a way to move up. You go from a junior man to a senior man in the car. Because I noticed as a junior man I had no say-so, and we'd go to a lot of calls that were family quarrels and some real abuse. And one of the things that I noticed, being always passionate about animals, is how animals at these calls just seem to have been either mentally or physically abused. And I really, at that point, as a young man and a new deputy and being there for a while, there was nothing I could do about that. That was not a priority for the sheriff's department. It was just not. We handled, in most of our calls as a patrol deputy, it was a lot of family abuse and what have you. Nothing was ever done about the animals. And it is something that I just never forgot and was not able to continue on because it was nothing I could do about it. When you have leaders in those positions, sheriff and chief of police, and if animal abuse is not a priority of theirs, then nothing's going to happen with the investigation of animal abuse. It's just not going to happen. Right here in Washington Parish, when I came here as a rescuer, I found out there was no animal ordinances. So, quick story is I went to the meetings that they had, which they hold on a Monday night. I went to those meetings and asked about animal ordinances several times, and I won't go into all the details, several times. Well, they're always going to look into it. Well, they're still looking into it, and that's been 3-4 years ago. And as far as I know at this point right now, Washington Parish still has no animal ordinances in it. Now, other states I've been in and I've lived in local areas, they actually did have animal ordinances, and which are important. You know, your local animal ordinances take care of your smaller details, you know, like, you know, getting your dogs vaccinated, making sure they all have tags, making sure, there's all little things that needs to be done that we don't do here. You know, we do have state laws against animal abuse, and it's a felony to commit. But the thing about it is we don't have any enforcement. There's no enforcement here. They don't enforce the laws here that's on the books. And they don't even have anybody that I know of to do anything about it. You know, now we have a new sheriff here in Washington Parish, so I'm not sure how that's going to go. But anyway, it wasn't enforced for the time that I was here because I fought to get animal ordinances, which went by the wayside. I continue to do my own thing, is collect the animals that were discarded, thrown out, abused, shot. I've taken care of a lot of animals here, but it's just overwhelming. Now, at my age, at 78, I don't rescue anymore. I spend my time doing what I'm doing right now, trying to make people aware that we need to make some changes. We truly need to make some changes in how we deal with animals. And I'm hoping that with all the things I'm going to have to say, and I'm going to continue to say it until things change. And things have to change. Animals are just abused so badly, and nobody seems to care. Especially, I'm going to say in the South, we just, animals for most people here are yard animals. They're just yard. No vet care, nothing. And so that has to stop. Animals have to be treated fairly. They're just not property, even though the law continues to rule them as they're just property. So that's the big issue. They're just treated as property and nothing else. And the other thing is that when law enforcement does investigate, let's say they do a poor investigation and things go south, and things can go south pretty quickly in animal investigation, they might find themselves with a lawsuit on their hands. There have been several agencies now that are suffering lawsuits from poor animal investigation courses. Now, I'm going to end this in saying that I want people to really understand what I'm saying and to reach out to your local law enforcement agencies and start insisting that animal cruelty be taken care of and looked at, because it all ends up with human abuse at some point in time if you don't start taking animal abuse seriously. The other thing is that I want to say, and this is not all about wanting to sell a book, but I put together a comprehensive animal investigation course, and I mean it's comprehensive. And I have it available. And I want people to realize, people who work in animal services, your animal shelter managers, your animal shelter volunteers, those that law enforcement, you name it. If you're dealing with animals, I would appreciate if you would take it seriously. And it's online. You can go to Amazon. It's a comprehensive a book that deals with investigations of animals, and it's complete. So you get an opportunity. It's written by myself, Dr. Mark McMorris Jr. I would appreciate it. But that's not the reason I'm here. I want people to understand that animal abuse needs to be taken seriously. Thank you.